The man stayed right there on the floor and died. The man died on the floor. He died. My God.
JY family, I don't have much to say regarding this story. All I need to do is just play the video and you guys can be the judge down in the comment section. First, I want to say my condolences goes out to this gentleman and his family. This is a very tragic and sad one. And this story need to be shared. So nobody, young, old, poor, rich, middle class, upper class, the indifference, nobody don't die like this again, especially at an airport where you're boarding a flight. It's not like you don't have any family members or anybody to care for you. You're boarding a flight. You know, it's not like you're sick where you can't manage yourself or whatever, so you need company or anything of the sort. This is just sad all around. Please, may I beg you, share this video. Share this video, guys, because trust me, as I mentioned, no one should die like this. My God, in an airport where you have millions of people traverse every single day. An ambulance, and this is lethal. Anyway, check out the video. When we come back, we talk some more.
The man stayed right there on the floor and died. The man died on the floor. He died. My God. Hi everyone. This is not something that I normally do. As a matter of fact, I've never done it before. But I believe that there is a need to do this today. I'm doing this. I'm live at this Sangsters International Airport on my way back home to America, taking flight JetBlue. So we arrived at the airport just about 11 o'clock there. A gentleman was behind me, one of the agents, speaking to another man, but I didn't pay them much attention, but I know they were talking. And then I just heard like somebody fell. I looked behind me. It was the passenger, an elderly man that fell. Blood was coming, I think, from his nose. And the agent who he was talking to, who had just stepped off for a little, just turned his back, turned around, and took up his head and tried to clear his passengers. And I was saying, somebody call 911. Or 119, whatever the case is. And I was saying to him, give him CPR. But he said to me, he's breathing. He's breathing, and for truth, he was breathing and doing a little bit of shuffling, slight shuffling. So when I saw a lot of blood coming from his head, I couldn't see the wound, but the blood was on the floor on his head. So I went into his bag. I saw his passport. No, his passport was on the ground beside him. So I took it up, put it in his bag. I looked at his bag and I saw his name, the name tag on the bag. So I could say what his name was. And then I was saying to the gentleman, we were there conversing, and I said, somebody call help. So in the meantime, I guess somebody was making a call. Somebody did say that they called whatever. I think they said operations or something. Right? And while they were there, nobody, and it took about between 20 minutes and half an hour for a lone nurse to come by. Right? And while the man was there, while the young guy was there with him, trying to keep his head up and all of that, I went into his bag and I saw a roll of tissue. And I gave him the roll of tissue, the entire roll, and tell him to press it on the wound. you know, tried to press it on the one of the head. Anyways, the nurse finally came and she said she was checking his oxygen, you know. In the meantime, I took out his phone. I got his phone and was searching his phone to see if we could find a number, a recent number. And we were making calls using our phone. And because we couldn't place any calls on his phone. And then the JetBlue lady came and she took his phone and she went on the phone. Myself and her, we were going through it to find a number that we think we could call. So she called the number. While she was calling the number, another gentleman who came, I don't know who he represents, but he's with the airport. He's with the airport, he had on one of those vests. And he was saying, because we got through to the person on the phone, and the lady was telling him that, you know, the customer, I won't say his name, the passenger, he collapsed, you know, and he's at the airport. So she said she was trying to get somebody, you know. He was there, you know, telling us to tell him, or telling the JetBlue lady to tell the person on the phone that the single ambulance that is at Cornwall Regional is not available. And for them to call a private ambulance, the person on the phone has to approve the payment of $400 US. They have to confirm that it's okay for them to call the ambulance and noting the payment of $400 US. So I said, we have to wait for them to do that to get help for the man. The man need help. The man, I saw the man gap. I've never seen somebody gap, or what they call it, catch breath, in my entire life. First time I'm seeing that, right? And the man was gapping, right? And the man was saying, so I said, why you need to tell them that? Why you need to get $400 or to confirm that then we pay $400 before you call that? You understand? So that is stupid. So the nurse was saying, if they can't get the ambulance, then they'll get the taxi. Miss, get the taxi. I'll pay the money for him. I'll pay the taxi fee. Get the taxi. You understand? So they tried to let me know that it's protocol and they have to get approval from the family member to call the ambulance, to call the private ambulance, which will cost $400 US. The man at the airport waiting and ready to go back to America, taking JetBlue, right? And he would have paid his fare to go on the flight. So I'm saying, could not JetBlue or even the airport take that cost? They have to depend, or they have to wait until a family member says that it's okay to go ahead and call the ambulance. Mark, the man came to the airport, whoever got him there left him, an elderly man. Understand? And I'm saying, come on, man. That is how we do things here. Because people are going to talk about you have to get approval to call an ambulance. Look how many people travel in the airport daily. Hundreds of thousands of people travel through the airport daily. And we don't have nothing in place for things like this. We don't have nothing in place for things like this. It just made me wonder if it was a white person, if it would have been the same treatment. I'm thinking this could happen to anybody. It could happen to me. It could happen to anybody at all, right? You know, just stay there and die. It takes so long to make a decision when people's life is dependent on it. We have to do better. Jamaica, JetBlue, I'm calling you out on this one because you should have been there for the man. You shouldn't be asking that question. He was your passenger and him at the airport and he was talking to an agent, right? Getting whatever information he needed to get on the plane to check in, and he collapsed right there. All of that come talk about. We have to get approval from the family to call an ambulance to pay $400 US first, to find out how, if they're gonna pay $400 US before. Man, this is one of the worst experiences I've ever had in my entire worst experience I've ever had in my entire life. You know, I'm calling out whoever is in charge of stuff like these, man. They need to do better. There should be an area in the airport to reach people. One ambulance, the Cornwall Regional Hospital, one ambulance, and because it is not available, a private ambulance has to be called, and before it is called, there has to be confirmation, right? Or whatever that, the $400 US, it's okay to call them, we will pay the $400 US. Oh, Jesus. God help us. God help us, man.
And you know, with all of this, trust me, you can't stop people from comment and say what they want to say. But you have some heartless people out there, because I see people are say, why this lady take it so personal? Why she a ball and a go and so she too extra? Like, seriously? See them say, anytime the shoes are near your foot, trust me, it's a different thing, you know? Yeah, man. Trust me. JY family, who will be held responsible for a situation like this? Who? How we go about making changes? There is more question here than even answer. And this is very disgraceful. You tell me, say the airport did not think about this, how it would look in a modern time now where everything has been televised. Everything televised, everybody video everything will come out. No key how you try the damage control. It can't happen in them time, you know. It cannot happen. So who are going to held responsible? How we go forward from this? When the other tourists them see them or something here, how them look pan the airport? How them look pan it? You have people who travel through the airport with oxygen, with them wheelchair. Doctors say, go on and live in a life. Enjoy on yourself for the last. Which part them choose? For enjoy themselves for the last. Jamaica. And you tell me you don't have a proper system set up in case of emergency like these? You're telling me that you call and the no ambulance is assigned to the airport? Now, JY family, I'm going to let you listen to the official report and spam the comment section. Janu. Oh boy.
71-year-old Leroy Smith visited Jamaica to bury his brother. On Wednesday, it was time to return home. His nephew carried him to the Sangster International Airport, but in a shocking turn of events, Mr. Smith collapsed near the check-in area. A representative from the airport then contacted his niece. She was told,
Mr. Smith had an accident and we need our family to come back to the airport. I asked what's happening. The person said she was unable to give me much information over the phone at the time, and that Mr. Smith had an accident. All she can say is that he had an accident and he's on the floor.
She hung up and alerted the nephew, who transported Mr. Smith to the airport. When she called back the representative, she heard,
he's still on the floor and he's unconscious, and they're going to perform CPR. All right. So I said, don't you have an ambulance to rush him to the hospital? She said, the ambulance is on the way.
Distressed, she made repeated calls for some 20 to 35 minutes. Still,
all I'm hearing is they're doing CPR and ambulance is on the way. And to the point where I'm like, are you telling me that there is nothing else that can be done? He's just on the floor like that?
approaching 40 minutes, she called again, eager for an update. The update left her perplexed.
She said, I cannot disclose anything. We were doing CPR. They were doing CPR on him, and now they cover him up. Miss, what do you mean them cover him up? What that mean? Did he die?
Sadly, he did. MBJ Airports Limited released a statement 2 days later saying the airport staff were alerted to a passenger in medical distress. It says emergency response protocols were immediately activated, with on-site medical personnel arriving within minutes. The airport said during that time, an ambulance was also called to the scene. The release doesn't say if or what time the ambulance would have arrived. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz says he's seen this viral video from a passenger detailing the incident.
The nurse was saying if they can't get the ambulance, then they'll get the taxi. Miss, get the taxi. I'll pay the money for him. I'll pay the taxi fee. Get the taxi.
We contacted the woman afterwards. She says they were alone with the man for quite some time and that blood was running from his nose.
The nurse had come, which was about I would say 20 minutes to half an hour after he fell. The nurse had come and she started to do whatever she needed to do.
Mr. Vaz has since requested a full report on the incident.
My report will be able to speak specifically to what happened because there are cameras there, CCTV cameras, and therefore everything should be to the second in relation from when the incident happened to when he was removed.
Mr. Vaz added that MBJ Airports has a contractual arrangement with Hospital in relation to medical services, which includes ambulances.
My understanding when I asked is that they have access to up to 7 ambulances, and the proximity from Hospital to Montego Bay Airport is not that far.
Romarda Lyons, TVJ News.
Jamaica, me nah sell out. Them try clip we wings, somehow we can't fly out. But when we there a yard, nothing nice like Jamaica. Roast breadfruit and banana. Under the tree with a glass.